Hey, Honesties. Welcome back to another episode of Honesty Though Podcast with your host, the one and only Zena, aka Top Tier Z, where I keep it raw, I keep it real, and I keep it risky. And honestly, though, I feel like y'all don't be messing with my solo episodes like that. Like, I be trying to be honest and transparent and vulnerable, and y'all just be like, 40 likes. 40 views. Give me 40 likes. I'll take it. I'm not even doing that. But 40 views. I'm just like, damn, what y'all want to see? What y'all want to hear? Like, let me know in the comments below. Cause the episode with guests, they be doing this thing. I be getting my numbers. But by myself, I'm like, damn, y'all don't fuck with me? Like, y'all only hear from my guests? What's up? So I just had to get that off my chest because, I'm just making a little observation or whatever. Cause, I run my show by myself, produce my show by myself, edit my show by myself, screen my guests by myself. I feel like I'm about to drop a rap on y'all. These are bars, okay? But no, I put so much time and effort into the show. So when I feel like it's not performing how I would like it to perform on YouTube, the audio downloads are different. Those I do well on. I get my numbers. But I'm trying to, bring that YouTube viewership up, keep it consistent, and also help your girl get to 500 subscribers. So subscribe if you haven't yet. And then after 500, I'm trying to reach the 1,000 goal. I got goals. So help me, please. Anyway, today's episode, I figured I'm going to speak about some Valentine's Day observations. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Also Super Bowl situation. That has passed, but last week I had to do a Valentine's Day episode. I had my first couple on, so I couldn't shift around the content. I'm gonna definitely speak about some sexy songs for you. Drake's new album featuring Party Next Door. Gonna speak about this Big Meech, 50 Cent, Rick Ross situation, and then just some close out with something else. I forgot what it is, but y'all gonna stick around and find out. I have a serious question though. So Valentine's Day on the gram, I've seen a lot of single women do photo shoots of themselves, right? In like lingerie with flowers or a teddy bear and all these things. And I just want to know, like, what's the purpose? Like, serious question. Because I am thoroughly confused as to why I'm seeing this kind of content, right? And to each its own, do your thing. Y'all look good. I'm not saying y'all don't, but I just want to know why y'all do that, right? And from the analysis I have drawn, I think it's given a lot of self-love, like I'm my own Valentine, yada, yada, yada. But baby, self-love should be 24/7, 365. Like it shouldn't just be around this one day, right? So if you're going to use the excuse as I love myself, well, you can do that photo shoot at any time, any place, anywhere. You don't have to wait for Valentine's Day, right? I don't know. Me personally, I feel like Valentine's Day are for the lovers, whether that's your man, your husband. Some people like to say that Valentine is their kids. Like you don't have to be a part of everything. Like it's okay to sit some things out. So I just want to know the purpose of why y'all do this because I am confused. I get onto the Instagram, I get on my feed, and I'm like, oh, it's a birthday. And it's like, no, happy Valentine's Day. And I'm swiping. I'm looking for the one with the man or the partner. And I'm like, damn, these are all solos. What's going on here? Like, I have genuine questions about it. And I'm not coming at y'all. I'm really not, but I just want some understanding, why y'all spend money to do y'all hair, do y'all makeup, pay a photographer, buy new lingerie, or wear old lingerie, whichever one y'all doing, because it could be both. I don't want to make assumptions, right? Just to post this on Instagram. Like, I me personally, like, I feel like that's something I would do for my man. Like, let me take a sexy photo, have a sexy photo shoot for my man and maybe make a calendar or something. For him for Valentine's Day, like, or give it to him for his birthday. You know what I'm saying? But like, just to do this and post it on the gram, I'm just confused. Like, you can literally see the confusion on my face if you're watching on YouTube. I also like looking at myself. Y'all might see me look to the left a little. Like, I'm just like, damn, I look good. Like, I just want to be honest, like I just sometimes, I feel like this is not on my topic list, right? But I just like to talk. And sometimes things just come into my head. But I feel like sometimes we get so used to seeing ourselves because we literally see ourselves every day, right? That our features or like our beauty starts to not mean so much to us, right? So sometimes I have people just staring at me or I'm walking through the train station, they're like, damn, you beautiful. I'm like, thanks, whatever. Like, even on the day I feel like I don't look my best and I get complimented, like it's a constant reminder to me, like, I got so used to seeing myself that when other people see me and my beauty, I have to learn to appreciate it, right? And it needs to, like I said, it's a reminder for me, like you got some nice features, like you're beautiful. So yeah, I'm feeling myself today. So that's why y'all see me keep looking left. But anyway, transparency moment is done. Okay. Now I do want to talk about K Dot's Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. And if you know me, you know, like, I love Drake. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there, right? But I am a Kendrick fan also. Like, I think lyrically, Kendrick is amazing. Like, his metaphors, similes, like, just the way he says things, like, his play on words. He's a fucking genius. Like, I'm not gonna discredit the man. But y'all, I was honestly bored with the Super Bowl performance. Like, and I know there are people out there who's like, you didn't catch the underlying messages and yada yada yada, and there was the American flag. I don't know why I put this voice on. There was the American flag, and there was what's that man's name? Samuel L. Jackson playing as shit. Who's Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam. Thank you for that because I just drew a blank and it's so funny. Like, what? Uncle who? But it's fitting, right? You chose Samuel L. Jackson to play Uncle Sam, and that's who controls the money. And I get all of that, right? But me personally, on Super Bowl Sunday, when it comes to halftime show, I just want to be entertained. And I wasn't entertained. Like sometimes I don't want to use my thinking skills too much. Like I just want to vibe out, have a good time, and get ready for the second half of the show, the game, right? So I feel like his mic could have been higher. The energy, even SZA's performance, like I just wasn't impressed. And two things can be true, right? Like he did get a message across. He got deep. He does what Kendrick does, right? Like obviously I'm not expecting Kendrick to go in there and like wild out with the energy because that's just not even his vibe. But I was bored. Like I still vibe to it. I still put it on my IG or whatever because I like his music. But like as far as a Super Bowl performance, halftime show, it was on snooze. And I think everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And I see people like trying to put people down because they said they weren't feeling it. Y'all aren't smart enough. Y'all this, y'all that. Bruh, we don't all have to think the same. Like just because you enjoyed it in that way doesn't mean everyone else did. You get what I'm saying? Like to some people it was entertaining. And if that's you, then cool. We have different levels of what entertains us and excites us. And you can just respect people's perspective and opinion about it without putting them down. Like y'all be getting y'all panties in a bunch for what? Maybe because I'm not Black American that I don't really feel it that deeply. I don't know. I was born in St. Lucia. I'm St. Lucian, right? Like I moved to America when I was 10. So I constantly get this, where are you from? And I'm like, well, I'm St. Lucian, but I was raised in New York, right? Brooklyn to be exact. But I don't know, some things I feel like don't really strike a chord with me as much as it does with an African American person who was born here. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just wish there was a little more entertainment on my end. Like honestly, though, the most entertaining part to me was Serena Williams coming to do her crip walk. Like she took it back to those days, when she used to crip walk on the tennis court or whatever. And I did see this clip of Stephen A. Smith saying if he was her husband, he would divorce her because why is she still stuck on Drake? And bro, what? First of all, that man has never been married a day in his life. I'm talking about Stephen, right? Never been married a day in his life. So I don't even think he understands what a divorce from maybe a billionaire couple together entails. Like, for me to say through thick or through thin with my wife and then divorce her over a little snippet of a performance. Mind you, Kendrick did say her name in the song. Did he not say something saying Serena? Like, I don't know the lyrics, but he definitely mentioned her name in the song. One, so to think like she's coming on to put on for LA and you think she's stuck on Drake is crazy. Like, expand your mind, sir. Like, also, Drake did throw shots at her and her husband in Somewhere in the Ocean. Was that the song? In 2022. Middle of the Ocean in 2022. He definitely threw shots at her and her husband. So her husband is actually probably rejoicing because you took shots at me and my wife who pay you no attention. And now she's on national TV being viewed by millions of people around the world getting her lick back. Like, I know, what's his name? Alex, what's her husband's name? Owner of Reddit, or you still on Reddit. I don't know why I keep drawing a blank today. I don't know what's going on, but I know that man probably was so proud of his wife. So for Steven to say, I would have divorced her is crazy. His name is Alexis. Yes, Alexis Ohani. Thank you. I know it was an Alexis, right? But like, I just feel like this also shows how deeply Black women are like constantly under a magnifying glass. Like, she can't even have this moment with Kendrick, who mentioned her name in the song, without you trying to cause malice in her marriage. Like, she was here for a good time, not a long time. And like I said, she was the most entertaining part of it for me. When she started crip walking, I started crip walking, like, in my little living room, you know, like, just look at my girl. She looking good. She enjoying herself. So, Stephen, please, you find a wife first and then have something to say about it. Because what? But you know, Drake dropped his new album, A Party Next Door, some sexy songs for you on Valentine's Day. And you know, I had to listen to the whole album because, as I said, I'm a Drake fan as well. So I really like when Drake is in his like R&B sexy vibe. Like, I don't know, I think the fact that he can do both, like he can go toe to toe with any rapper except Kendrick. And that still turn around and produce these love songs and that R&B and that like Marvin's Room type of nostalgia, right? Like that Jada type of music, that pipe down. Like, those are songs of his I love, where he just does his thing as an R&B artist. Like, it really just speaks to my soul, right? And not every song is about for me. There were definitely some skips. I definitely have to re-listen a couple more times for me to really give my full opinion on it. But I think it's cool. You know, I think it also shows like, as much as people like to entertain the narrative, like, oh, Drake is done, his career is done, no one's effing with him. Like, that's not the case. Like, I know a lot of people who were excited for this drop and for him to release this new music, right? And I think, honestly, for me, y'all, I really miss the days when there was no rap beef. Like, I think music was so much better when people weren't beefing. Like, there are so many collabs I just want to hear happen, but it's not gonna happen because everyone has beef, and it just makes it a little boring for me personally. It's half and half, right? Because it's like, all right, with the beef, you're kind of like, you're anticipating the next diss, like what they gonna say, who got this round, yada yada yada, right? But then when there's peace in the music industry, I feel like we get some of our best collabs and best music. And I feel like summer 2024 was just it wasn't all of that for me musically. And I'm just really hoping to see a shift in summer 2025 music. Like, I'm trying to, I don't want to say be outside, but when I am outside, I'm trying to really vibe to some new stuff and some classic stuff that just hits, you know, like how summer 2016 hit, right? When Drake gave us Controller and Views and all these things. So that's really what I'm trying to hear. So hopefully they can really get their stuff together before summer hits, because I got things I want to hear with people who don't like each other right now. So make it happen for your girl, okay? Also, though, on Drake's song "Give Me a Hug" from the album, right? He says, "Melissa Ford, you a legend from the six. Hate to see you with a dick sucker, aka Joe Budden," right? Because if anyone knows, like, Joe and Drake, they just do not get along. Like, the beef is, Joe be sending his little shots on his podcast to Drake, and it's just been an ongoing situation. And so Melissa Ford now, Drake said, "Let's heat up summer." And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Heat it up. But Melissa put the song in her IG bio, and she made a little clip or whatever, what Drake said, like, just feeding off of the hype of the song, and also in a sense promoting it because it's in your IG bio because he spoke highly of you, right? And that's cool. But also Melissa Ford does a podcast with Joe Budden as his co-host. So is she entertaining the ops, aka Joe's ops, right, by promoting this song in her bio and like being hyped that Drake mentioned her? Because while mentioning her, he also is taking shots at the man who helps her make money. Like, she gets paid to be on his podcast. So is she playing with the ops, or where does the loyalty lie, right? Is the loyalty to herself? Because that's what it's seeming like. And a lot of people might question that and be like, "Oh, she's not loyal to Joe," because he was referring to Joe as the D sucker, and here she is promoting the song and yada yada yada. And there comes a point where it's like, just because I work with someone and I do something with someone, does that mean like they're my end all be all? Like, am I supposed to be more loyal to them than I am to self? Like, maybe her promoting this song, maybe Drake is gonna put her in the video if he does do a video, right? Like, is this her way of securing, letting Drake know, like, I F with you, even though you don't F with the person I work with? You get what I'm saying? Like, at what point do you put yourself above who you associate with when it comes to loyalty, right? Take, for example, this 50 Cent versus Big Meech beef, which, honestly, though, y'all, I I really feel like 50 Cent got some real female tendencies, and like, I just don't see it ever leaving his body. And I hate to say this because I do like 50 as an artist. Like, when G Unit was a thing, like 50 put out some classics. I'm not gonna lie, like, I really liked his music. And I think in the media space, right, of television, he's given us, like, he gave us Power Book 2, BMF, which I never watched, but all these things, right? And he's a genius when it comes to making money. So I do respect that aspect of it, but I do feel like, I mean, he's probably makes so much money from beefing with people, right? Let's be honest. So maybe to him, this is all marketing, and maybe he's just good at what he does. But to me personally, at what point do you just take a rest? Like, you gotta fight with everybody, bro? Like, what? It's crazy to me because for those who don't know the backstory, let me give y'all some backstory. Um, Big Meech and 50 were cool. Meech did his time in jail, got let in prison, got let out early on good behavior, has to spend the rest of the time in a halfway house. His actual release date is January 27th, 2026. So he got a good year left or whatever. And so 50 put out the BMF series with Lil Meech and a bunch of other actors and actresses that we are all familiar with. I can't remember them because I don't watch the show, but if you watch, he's given a lot of opportunities to people who are in the music industry, or, just actors in general, right? And so Big Meech announced that he was doing a concert in Miami and made a video saying that Rick Ross will be a part of the concert, Moneybagg Yo, like a bunch of other artists. 42 Doug, more people or whatever. My whole thing right here is big Rick Ross, not Big Ross. It's Rick Ross, right? Because Rick Ross and 50 Cent have had beef forever now. Like, to the point where 50 Cent released a sex tape of Rick Ross's baby mother. Yeah. Yeah, she was on wax. Stormy. So that's how deep it gets, right? And so this beef has been going on for years. And I think it's because 50 Cent believes Rick Ross is a rat because he was a correctional officer and all these things, whatever, CO. So anyway, so I guess 50 feels like Big Meech's loyalty has to be to him and he shouldn't be working with Rick Ross. And because of that, now he's going to cancel BMF. And it's just a whole bunch of feminine behavior. Like, I am just like, bruh, business is business. Like, he doesn't have to be loyal to you when he's trying to conduct business. Like, 50 Cent, you are a New York rapper. You're from Queens, New York. This concert is in Miami. So guess who's from Miami? Rick Ross. Make it make sense. Like, you're so emotional. You can't put aside your feelings and you feel like he should be loyal to you to understand the business aspect, but you're such an accredited businessman. The contradiction is crazy to me. It's crazy because why must that man be loyal to you when he's trying to make money? Like, what? Like, I'm a woman and I'm not very emotional about if the roles were reversed. Like, I wouldn't be emotional. Like, learn to separate business from personal. And I feel like that's where just a lot of people in today's society fail because we take things so personally all the time and we don't respect other people's business decisions and choices, even when it has nothing to do with us. Like, you cancel an entire show, right? What about, so hold on. I just want to say, if Joe Biden decides to fire Melissa Ford because she's out here promoting Drake's song after Drake called him a D-writer, is that valid? Like, I look at the two to be the same to some aspects because Joe can be like, yo, Melissa, you're not loyal to me because you're promoting this song and yada, yada, yada. So you're off the podcast. Not me doing Joe Budden's voice. I don't even listen to this podcast. Y'all, I don't even listen to any podcast besides my own. And maybe that's a bad thing, but I just figured this is the point where I tell y'all. So I don't even know what Joe Budden really sounds like on the daily, but you know, I'm just saying, like, what if he did say that, right? Like, is that valid? Because to some extent, that's what 50's doing. I'm going to cancel the whole show and the whole series because you're conducting business with my op or someone, you know, I don't like. So you're telling me you're putting all these directors and producers and actors and actresses out of a job because you can't put aside your personal beef with Rick Ross? And you're mad at a decision that Big Meech made? And I get that you doing that is also affecting Meech's pockets because obviously he gets paid off the show. It's based on his life, which 50 has the right to now. But like, at what point are you going to say this is not necessary? Like, there's a lot of people being caught in the crossfire. Yes. Thank you, Jordan. There's a lot of people being caught in the crossfire of this situation because 50 is just so dramatic and emotional. And maybe that's his cancer, the cancer in him talking, because he's a Cancer, and Cancer people are very emotional. They are water signs. All water signs are emotional and sensitive, if you ask me, but don't come for me. That's just from my experience. You know, but I just feel like at some point, like, being a businessman, you have to learn to separate the two. And not everything requires an Instagram war and like, honestly, it's entertaining, right? Like, you're giving the people what you want, what they want, I assume, or what you assume they want. You know, like, to some people, they like that kind of stuff. But when it's always, it's repetitive, like 50 Cent, you're always in something. Sometimes it's kind of hard to respect you as a man and a businessman, if you're just always beefing with people, to me, it kind of takes away from your credibility and also kind of perhaps make other people scared to want to work with you because God forbid I do something with something ooh, I do something with someone 50 Cent doesn't like, then I'm at risk of losing out on money or there goes our business deal. Like people probably are going to start walking on eggshells with you because you move so emotionally. You move from a place of emotion all the time. Like I don't think these are things he's thinking about, and maybe he needs a woman in his life to tell him this and to, full transparency. Like, babe, like, you can vent to me about it. You don't have to take it to the internet. Like, you don't have to let it affect the money that's being made and all these things or whatever. Because sometimes not everything, it's not that deep. It's not that deep at all. Like, whatever. I'm just over it personally, as you can tell. But teach his own. 50 gonna be 50. He gonna do what he does, and who am I to sit here and tell him how I feel or anything like that? But I'm just saying, like, I'm sure there are other people out there who feel the same way. I also want to talk about Dank Demoss. Hopefully, I'm saying her name correctly. But if y'all remember, she was the overweight girl who decided to file a lawsuit against Lyft because the driver, when he picked her up, suggested she order a different car because his car was too small to accommodate her. Now, I've seen videos, I've seen pictures of her, and she is overweight. Like, she is huge. And y'all, I personally just feel like, okay, before I give y'all my thoughts on how I really feel. I saw nothing wrong with the Lyft driver telling her to order a different car, right, to accommodate her, because I don't drive. But I have been in cars sometimes when there's too many people back there and they're a little hefty. That should be sinking. You be hearing something dragging on the floor. Like, not everyone has a good quality car, right? And if that Lyft driver, that's how he makes his livelihood. That's how he feeds himself, his family, is with his car. So if him picking her up and continue on with the ride is gonna now potentially affect his livelihood by giving his car trouble, where he now has to go to a mechanic and spend money, whatever. I do think he has the right to say, order a bigger car to accommodate your size. Like, me personally, I saw nothing wrong with it, right? But she did, and she's filing a lawsuit. The funny thing is, though, when she walked onto the Breakfast Club, and there was like a regular little, I wouldn't say a folding chair, but there was a regular chair there for her. She said, "Do you guys have a bigger chair?" Huh? So this man is wrong for telling you to order a bigger car, but here you are walking into the studio asking for a bigger chair, right? And whoa, excuse me, your girl got gas, y'all. But when she was given like kind of like a cow situation, similar to this, she's like, "Oh, thank you for the accommodations." Do you see the hypocrisy? You can ask for a bigger chair to accommodate your size, but your Lyft driver can't ask you to order a bigger car to accommodate your size. Make it make sense. And I do think her stating that statement about thanks for the accommodations and the bigger chair, like, that's going to affect your lawsuit because you just walked onto a show and did exactly what he did. Like, it's not discrimination against obesity or obese people who are obese. It's just making the best business decision, not only for your comfortability, but also to protect his car and his livelihood. And in an interview, she also said, and I quote, she said, "My mind doesn't know I'm this big." In her mind must think she's normal size or small. Because she said she walks into a gym and she feels fit. These are her words. 1, you are delusional. 2, obesity is a disease And it runs rampant in the Black community because everyone's so insensitive to it and hurting people's feelings. You are overweight. You need a dietitian, and you need to really take your health more seriously. Because if your mind doesn't know you're as big as you are, what the I'm truly baffled, y'all. When she said that, I was just sitting here like, so you probably just keep on eating with no regard to your actual weight and size, right? You're probably eating a bunch of things, so it just keeps on adding on to that fat, right? The risk of diabetes, strokes, hypertension, high blood pressure, like all these things are not in the back of your head because your mind doesn't think you're as big as you are. I think that needs a mental evaluation. Like, I don't know. I want to get into her mind to know exactly what her mind thinks with the body. I really do. Because for her to say this out loud and then to say you walk into the gym and you're fit, and then even like the stuff she wears, like she's wearing crop tops up here where the whole stomach is out and just sees nothing wrong with it. Like, someone really needs to have a sit down. I think it's giving psychology. A psychologist, a therapist, something. Someone needs to get to the root of what's in her head, y'all. Because when she said that, like, there is so many red flags to me. And the fact that you don't see yourself as big as you actually are is disturbing because she's big. She's short, right? But she's big. Yeah, I need further evaluation. I am really concerned for the Black community and obesity, right? Sometimes I even see it in kids. It's like, oh, it's baby fat. It's going to come off. It doesn't. Some of them, that baby fat is there until they're 21. You're not a baby anymore. Like, a baby stops at what? 3 years old, 4? And then you're a toddler. And then you're a preteen, a teen, and then adolescence, and then adult. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm just sick and tired of everyone walking around acting like it's okay to be this big and eat whatever you want and not holding people accountable for their health and themselves, or just accepting it for what it is. Like, as a Black community, we need to do better because we're killing off our people. Like, you're killing off yourself. And some of you guys, it runs from like generation to generation. And at what point do you appoint yourself as a person who's going to change that? Not just for yourself, but for your family line, right? It's really concerning to me because we're out here eating so much sugar, just so much stuff that's not good for us. We're not exercising. We're not active. Some of y'all, you walk a mile and you can't breathe. Your joints are all messed up. I mean, I got bad knees too, but I used to dance. So that's a different story. But some of y'all, your knees can't even hold up your weight because you're just so big. And I am just tired of it. You know, I really wish more Black people prioritize their health, prioritize eating healthy. Like, you can still eat healthy and still have taste and flavor in your food. You know, like, you can cut back on the sugar, the processed foods, the processed sweets, and all these things, and like really make an effort to take care of your body and your temple because that's all you have, you know. And like, some people, I just watch them, they have kids and then they don't even make that change for the kids, right? To add some longevity to their life so that they can care for the kids and see the kids grow up. And it's really concerning to me because the fact that we've normalized obesity as a Black community, what does that say about us? Like, at what point do we start saying this is not okay? At what point? Like, we are constantly trying to spare people's feelings, and you can say that this is not okay, and you can, you know, push for people to eat healthy and all these things without it being something that's offensive or something that's going to hurt their feelings, right? It's what you say. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you're coming from a place of love and good intention, then that person shouldn't be offended, right? But to just act like it's okay because you're scared of offending them or hurting their feelings. Like, it's not okay. At this point, we're all the problem because no one's really speaking about it. No one's really speaking about how people are dying at such a young age. Look at Irv Gotti, like, rest in peace, but he passed away at 54 years old. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's young. That's still young. And he looked good from the outside, but internally, clearly something was off. Like, we cannot just keep on eating shit, drinking liquor, smoking all this toxins, and just act like we're supposed to live a long life. Sorry. Like, that is delusion. And at what point do we make a change and make a difference as a community? It really bothers me because honestly, like, being from St. Lucia, being from the Caribbean, like, I go back home and I don't see that many people who are overweight. I'll be honest with y'all. Like, most people when I go back home are in shape, they look good, they look healthy. And it's because obviously we're eating more natural things, maybe people might be like, oh, you guys are poor, whatever. But a lot of people, they farm their own food, right? So you know exactly the source of your food. And we're eating clean. There's less processed foods in the Caribbean. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is just my experience when I go to my country. And I go to my country very frequently. And obesity is not something we struggle from, right? But diabetes, yes. High blood pressure, like that. We like a lot of salt. You get what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I don't like sugar. Like, I don't like sweets. I'll do a dessert here and there, but like, for me to be like, oh, I want cookies. I'll probably crave cookies when I'm PMSing. Like, that's just it for me personally, right? Like, I don't like sweets. Like, and if you look at my teeth, you can see shorty teeth is good. Like, I have one cavity in my entire life. I go to my dentist. He's bored of me because he's like, Zena, you just need to clean it. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's nothing to fill. Like, my body just doesn't crave sugar, right? But salt is my weakness. And I do my best to control it, right? Like, I like to use sea salt rather than iodized salt when I cook. I also like, as much as I like salt, you're not gonna see me eating bags of chips because I feel for something salty. Like, there's this thing when you're craving something salty or sugary or anything of that matter that's not good for you, there's a deficiency in something that is good for you, right? So a lot of us need to really go to the doctor and get the blood work and those lab tests done to see, like, what are we deficient in and how can we supplement for that in a healthy way rather than through the junk and the processed foods and all these things that are killing us off, and making the decision to be active. Like, I'm not saying, even as a gym girly, like, I'm not saying you have to be in the gym, but like, at least active, whether it's walking, whether it's running, like, just something to get that heart rate pumping and to get that oxygen flowing through the veins and just like make your joints and your body stronger. Like, also like learning to fast, learning to juice, like those small changes really make a big difference. And I think it's just that we lack discipline. Like, we just, well, y'all, I'm not going to say we because I am very disciplined, but the lack of discipline is really a lot of people's downfall because they just cannot maintain. Sometimes they try, but they can't maintain. And I really feel like if we as an entire community made the effort to ensure longer lifespan for Black people, it's something we can all help contribute to. Okay. So I saw this thing on Instagram, this post on Instagram that pretty much, I'm going to read it for you guys because I'm seeing so many different opinions of this and I have my own opinion myself. So let me find it real quick. Here it is. So it says, yo, some girls always have a man, like always. Leave one, get another one. And they're not wrong, but how do you keep meeting and liking people, right? And I had to laugh at this because under the comments, there are so many people like, oh, they don't love themselves. And if they love themselves, they will be okay with being alone. and yada yada yada. And then you have the other aspects where it's like, first of all, actually, I'm gonna give y'all my aspect on my perspective, right? Just because I pop out with someone new, to you they're new. Who knows how long this person has been here for, right? So just because you may have seen me with someone 2 years ago or a year ago, and now it's a new year and I'm with someone else. Like, it can be someone who I was with before and we decided to give things a try again. You also don't know, like, just because I feel like people really believe anything they see on social media. And that's one of the things, because it's like, you don't know how long someone has been single for, right? So for you to say they don't love themselves enough to not be alone, you don't know that. Just because people don't announce things like, oh, I'm single, oh, I'm working on myself, yada, yada, yada. Not everyone announces every single thing that happens in their life. And I think that's why y'all are so blinded and misguided by social media, because y'all think everything needs to be put out there and for you to address, or mind your business first and foremost. Like, so what if some girls always keep a man? That means I don't love myself because men love me and like to do nice things for me. Like, sometimes some of these men are just people who's been like in the back, right? Just playing their part, whether it's a friend, whether it's, I don't know what they are, but maybe he's just waiting for that opportunity for you to be single. You know, maybe it's someone who's always liked you, that have always treated you well, and you decide to give it a go now. Like, some of y'all women have no riz, and maybe men don't want to do nice things for y'all, and that's why y'all can't find the man that y'all quote unquote like. Like, for some women, honestly though, women like myself, like, I don't even have to look for a man. Like, the man just be coming to me. Like, and I just be chilling. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel like y'all shame people for everything. Like, just because people don't do things the way y'all do it, or live a lifestyle that y'all live, it's you're putting them to shame. Like, okay, so just because I'm talking to a man or I have a companion, that means I don't love myself. That means I don't take the time to work on myself. Like, how do you know what I'm doing when I'm not with that man? How do you know how frequently I'm seeing that man and spending time with him for you to tell me I don't love myself enough and that's why I'm with a man? Huh? But whole time y'all be the ones who are lonely. Y'all want a man, but maybe ain't nobody checking for y'all. So y'all lonely and y'all hating. Cause like I said, y'all ain't got no riz and nobody's checking for y'all. So it's like, oh, she has had a man. There's something wrong with her. She got daddy issues. Nah, men just love me. What's the problem? I can teach you how to be likable so men can like you too. Like, it's just the everyone just thinks they know, and it's like, y'all don't know anything. You know, like, this could have been my ex, and I decided, okay, let's try again. You know, like, just because he's new to you doesn't mean he's new to me. And that's a issue. And then also, you think just because a woman's dating a man or dating multiple men that she's having sex with them. It's like, you don't know people's vagina and their sexual history. Like, stop with the assumptions. You know, just because maybe that's what you do, and the minute you entertain a man, you give it up. Maybe that's you. You put that label onto everyone else and you think everyone's doing the same, but nah. Like, it just baffles me, and it's just be women putting down the women. And that's what's funny to me, because we sit here and we talk about women empowerment, but it's always the women who are just so negative because people have different experiences than they do. And it's so hypocritical, because here we are, women supporting women, yay, let's do this for each other, with each other. But again, the minute someone does something that doesn't align with you or your lifestyle, here comes the judgment, here comes the put down, here comes the assumptions of what you think is going on, and you have no idea what's actually going on. Like, I think it's so important in 2025 to just mind your business. Like, if it doesn't align with you, if it doesn't resonate with you, let it go and mind your business. It's really not your business what people decide to do and who they decide to do it with, right? Whether or not it's on the internet, it's still not your business. Because like I said, the internet is, y'all think it's a real place, but it's really a fake place. People show you what they want you to see. And then you get so invested in people that you actually think it's legit, and sometimes it's not. Like me personally, sometimes I post things just to troll people and to confuse people. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you may think you know my life based on my IG, but I can just be posting that because I want to confuse you. Like, I like when people are confused about my life. I like when people are confused, like, is she single or is she dating? Oh, she posted a hand in this picture or this story of hers. What's going on here? Is this a man she's dating? Like, I want you to be confused because really, it's none of your business. It's not. If you really want to know my life, tune into Honesty Though podcast, and then you may find out some stuff you never knew. But on Instagram, baby, you don't know the real from the fake. Same way there are influencers or just people posting, like, I wouldn't say influencers, but just people posting like they live this lavish life and they got designer this and they live in this house and yada yada yada. Like, you don't know if that's real or fake. Do you know how many people post up on the gram like they look like they have money, and behind the scenes, like in real life, like their life is in shambles and they ain't got nothing going on. They have nothing. They gotta eat ramen soup for a week because they're that broke. But on Instagram, they look like they got it. Like, it's all a facade. And the sooner we learn that and disconnect from what we see on social media and actually invest that time into ourselves, the better off we will be. Because we're so busy analyzing other people's lives and through these pictures and these videos and what their highlight reel, like what people decide to post. Like, go spend that time on yourself. The same way you tell those women who always have a man to go love herself and learn herself, maybe you should do that instead of being so invested in people's life and what they have going on. That's just my little tidbit. You know what I've been thinking? I think I'm gonna make a Patreon where I just talk my shit. Like, I feel like, YouTube pushes what it want to push on the algorithm, and sometimes you gotta be politically correct. You gotta watch what you say and how you say it, and yada yada yada. And I just, like, I have so much I want to talk about, and I be restricting myself because I want to, appease to my audience. I want to be pushed through the YouTube algorithm. I want people to find my videos and my content, right? And I think it's time I make a Patreon. And hear me out. Hear me out, right? I do think I am that interesting that y'all should pay for my content and to know certain things about me and to hear certain conversations, not just with me, but with guests also. Um, and like I said, there's a lot of things I have opinions about that I would like to talk about. But again, I just don't feel like it's fitting for the podcast space. Get what I'm saying? So I do feel like at some point this year I am gonna do a little Patreon channel, where y'all subscribe for more content. I don't know if you noticed, but like, I no longer do my Fast Five for my personal episodes. One, my producer is no longer with me. I let it go. Let it go. So I have no one to do my Fast Five for me. Because my Fast Five, I like that aspect of surprise. Like, you just don't know what you're going to be asked, right? With the would you rather questions. And so, like, can I curate would you rather questions for myself? Yes. But to me, it's boring because I already know what they're going to be. So that, like, surprise effect on camera, I'm not going to fake it because I know the questions. So it just doesn't hit the same, So I do feel like Patreon is the best place for me to go eventually. And plus, I need to make some money off this podcast. Like, why else am I doing this if I'm not making money off of it? And don't get me wrong, like, I do like potting, but also, like, I went to school for journalism, and I do think I have a lot of skills that most people don't, you know? I think my interview style is great. I think my solo episodes, or even sometimes just chef's kiss, but like I said, y'all don't fuck with me on my solo episodes. I don't know why. But like I said, I went to school for this. It's something I actually take very seriously. For me, it's not just sitting in front of a mic and speaking, but like I screen my guests, as I said earlier. I have an outline. I know where I want to go with my conversations, and sometimes my delivery may not, from me analyzing myself over the last year, like I've really had to tailor the way I deliver my content and have my conversations for better results, right? And so I've always wanted to be in media. Like I got my associate's degree in criminal justice, and even while there, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like I love criminal justice, don't get me wrong. Like I want to be a lawyer at some point in my life. I do, but I love media and I love journalism, and I was always like interested in fashion journalism, right? Like, not really newsworthy content. That's just never been my niche. Like, even through college, when they're like, do this. I love investigative journalism. Like, it just does something for me. It's so fulfilling for me. And I am going to give myself my own flowers. I think I have the ability to make people very comfortable when they're on my show, where they can easily tell me their business, which is not why I have my episodes, but people feel comfortable talking to me. Um, I think I'm easy. I can get people to open up very easily, which I think is a skill. I do think the way I maneuver through my outlines, and the way I put them together, like they just flow into each other. And that's something a lot of people can't do, and they don't do, even though they coin themselves as podcasters. Like I do think podcasting is the new form of journalism. I do. And I do think in order to be successful in that, like you have to have some journalistic background or training. And a lot of people don't. And so when I sit here and I watch people, like, I'm not a hater or anything, kudos to everyone and what they do. This shit is hard. It's a lot of money being spent and all these things. But I'd be like, damn, like, when is my shit gonna hit and take off? And I know my time is gonna come, right? And I'm constantly like thinking of ways of how I can get better. Like for me personally, I don't just want a viral moment. I've had some of those, right? Virality doesn't really last. Is it gonna bring you visibility to some aspects? Yes. However, when that moment is gone and the next viral moment comes, you're forgotten about. For me, it's not about going viral. Like I really want to build community around the things that I am passionate about and the things I like speaking about, and also just like bringing, again, showing that podcasting is a form of journalism. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I do. Eventually, I am going to do a Patreon where I speak more about myself, get more deep with y'all and more transparent and stuff like that. But I want to build community, as I said before, and I think my real community building is going to maybe start with the Patreon, because if you care enough to pay for what I have to say or to hear or learn certain things about me, then that shows loyalty. Like I want to do merch as well, and I don't want to do merch until I build my community. You get what I'm saying? Of like people I know are going to spend money to support me and what I have going on. Like there's just so much I want to do with this podcast, and sometimes I like say on Instagram I need a clone because there's so much to do in so little time. But I get it done, like there's so many outlines I want to do to send to people to invite them onto the show. But because I'm a mother, I work a 9 to 5, I have other hobbies as well. Sometimes it's hard to focus on more than one outline at a time. But it's coming. It's coming. I really feel like this is the year where I just go big or go home, and like just really cement myself in the space and build that community and loyal supporters that I want. You get what I'm saying? So Help your girl get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start making some money on YouTube. Okay. When I do launch my Patreon, subscribe. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, like, if there are things you want me to speak about or like have any suggestions and pointers for me on my solo episodes, let me know. Like, I'm very open to criticism. I like to learn, I like to grow, and at the end of the day, I want to give y'all what y'all want. So yeah, holla at your girl. Send me a DM, write me a comment on YouTube, send me an email, honestythoughpodcast@gmail.com. And is that the email? Listen, the email changed a couple times. Let me make sure I got the right one for y'all. The email, honestlythoughpod@gmail.com. Send me an email with any suggestions you have, or if you would like to be a guest on my show, I'm open to that as well. On that note, I shall see you all next week. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Help your girl get to 1,000 subscribers and beyond that. All right. And have a good weekend, y'all. I shall see you all next week. Bye.